Now maybe here I'll actually be able to explain some things that are actually useful. The tutorial doesn't really have much, like anybody can really beat the tutorial. Maybe not beat Vanguard, but it's not really that big a deal if you don't. There's really, you get some extra items and stuff, but it's nothing major. I think it was just like a bonus thing for people who'd already played the game. Since, if you just started the game and the only thing you've done is a tutorial, there's like a 90% chance that Vanguard's just going to kill you since, you have no idea what's going on. So I'll just pick up this item, nothing major, and I'm going to switch my inventory again. I'm going to try and only use Crescent Grass for now, save the good heals for later. And at this point, you got to be a little careful since you can see our health bar is extremely small. Don't want to, take hits we don't need to, so just going to be looking around, being careful. You can, you got to remember that you're invincible while you're doing a backstab. So if there's multiple enemies around, it's very good to be able to get a backstab. Check this world tendency gate. Yeah, I might explain that later. Right now, I'm not going to really go into world tendency since, again, this is just a beginner to intermediate guide. World tendency isn't required at all. I might go into that later. For now, we're just going to talk about doing things that'll make the game much easier, learning the, where all the good items are early on, how to beat, any troublesome enemies early on. Might get to that stuff later on. For now, let's just beat World 1. Stay focused on that. Kill these stupid Dreglings. See, I'm just abusing my shield. That's all I'm really doing. They're so easy to kill. Don't need to do anything fancy. Backstab. Wow, I got lucky there, I will admit. The hitbox on that block was a little strange, but hey, we'll take it. I'll take 2 backstabs right there for that. Checking if they have any items. Drop anything for me. Oh, and there was something I actually forgot to explain. I should have mentioned it in the character creation screen. Deciding between male or female, there's generally there's 2 things to keep in mind. If you're making a female is generally made because you want to make leveling up easier. That's their main advantage. You can get either the silver bracelets to level up faster, or the I believe that, or is it the gold mask? I don't remember, but it's the silver bracelets that help female characters level up faster. Only girls can do that, so that's pretty much the only reason you keep that in mind. For armor, they get the binded set, which is good. The males get the Ancient King set, which is good. Those are basically your 2 big deciding factors on male or female. Personally, the reason I pick male is because I don't care about leveling up faster, because it's really not like when I first played the game, I thought that would be a big deal and I would make a girl character for that. But eventually I realized it really doesn't matter that much. You start to realize, because it eventually gets to a point where leveling up more and more and more really doesn't matter as long as you built your character correctly. Like, a lot of new players get caught up on grinding. I need to get more souls, and that's really not that big a deal. It's what's really important is, how you built your character and what years you're having. You can have an extremely low-level character, beat the game without much trouble if you know what you're doing. So just keep that in mind. And personally, I really like the Ancient King armor. It looks horrible, I will admit, but it's actually quite good. So that's another reason I make a male character. And I'm picking up, I'm trying to remember to pick up all the items. It's actually kind of hard for me to remember where all these items are because on newer characters where I'm just doing New Game Pluses, I don't need to pick them up anymore, so I just kind of run by. But, this is a new character, and this is supposed to be a guide for new players, so I will try to keep it in mind that I should be picking up items. And I should probably heal, because it would be pretty embarrassing to die, in this video. Someone's watching me like, who's this guy thinks he is? Thinks he's some pro, and then he gets killed by a Dregling. That would not be good. So I'm going to try and be careful. Still need to get the cling ring, and it is very depressing for me when I'm reading, like, you know, I'll be like on GameFAQs, and I'll be reading Demon Souls board, and someone not know about the cling ring. They're like, you know, trying to beat Flame Lurker, and they don't know about the cling ring, and it's like, of course you're gonna have trouble, you know. Because I prefer to play in soul form most of the time. I actually feel I have, you know, I play it better because you do more damage, you're stealthier, and those are the things I rely on. Because really, one extra ring slot and more health is not that big a deal. You know, like most bosses can kill you in just a few hits anyway, so that little bit of extra health isn't all that helpful. More damage is usually more important, really, in Demon Souls. You gotta remember that. How much damage you can do in a short amount of time is a big deal. So in a lot of cases, I will say I would be glad to sacrifice a little bit of health to do a lot more damage. And being stealthy is also very, very good. Thief Ring, oh yes, this is something I should mention as quick as possible. I wear the Thief Ring about 99% of the time. It makes the game so much easier. And yes, these rocks, they killed me the first time through the game. I feel a lot of new players don't know about how great the Thief's Ring is. It makes enemies a lot slower to notice you, a lot slower to attack. It generally makes the game just much easier. Like, it's hard to realize if you don't use it, like, how would that work, you know? But once you start wearing it a lot, you really start to notice the effects. And I completely lucked out dodging that arrow. I was backing away for stamina purposes, not because I knew that arrow was about to hit me. I'm going to go and try and fight the Red-Eye Knight right now. I'm going to abuse Soul Arrow for him, since that makes it way easier. There's a nice little trick with Soul Arrow fighting the Red-Eye Knight up here. At first it looks like it's not effective at all because he blocks it, but if you just keep using it, it will break his guard and eventually you can hit him for huge damage. So I'm going to use a little Crescent Grass here, and I won't get my other grass ready. I will assume that I know what I'm doing. Now, you can actually use magic without homing in like that. You just adjust your camera appropriately, so I get a free hit there. And I'm going to just back up and throw Soul Arrows. That's all I'm going to do. It's going to break his guard, get a free hit, big damage, and just keep doing it. And there you go. Not hard at all. And a lot of people will be like, you know, oh, with this strategy now I will farm the Red-Eye Knight. I will farm him for tons of experience. Don't waste your time doing that. It's not necessary at all. The only place I would ever suggest farming, well, actually two places, would be the Reaper in 4.2 because it's quick and easy, and you don't have to go through a whole level to do it, and it does yield good return, or soul-sucking Black Phantom Skeletons in 4.2 as well. Those are the only places I would suggest it, and I would only suggest it, under, certain circumstances. Don't do that all the time, thinking, I just gotta get more souls. It's not really necessary. If you're doing it just to make, like, a PvP character, and you're just trying to get, like, your soul level to that, 120 mark or whatever, then yeah, fine, you're an experienced player. But if you're new to the game and you're, like, soul level 40, and you're like, oh my god, I don't know what to do, I gotta get stronger, and, there's other ways to do it, and I'll show you that. The game is really, wow, and I almost died again. Those are supposed to be backstabs. Yeah, sometimes stupid stuff can happen like that, but, right as I'm trying to say the game was not as hard as it is, I almost died. That would have looked good. And there's a reason for breaking these chains. Most people probably know that. Just to get a nifty little ring that I'll show later. Can't do it yet, obviously. So I'm just going to get the shortcut and the cling ring down here. Broke my guard. Wow, that was lucky on my part. They all killed themselves. Made that pretty easy. Get the shortcut. And yes, getting the shortcut, always a good idea for new players. It will make things so much easier. And breaking the chains drops these two items over here. This armor I can't use since that's for girls. The only reason I would suggest getting this armor right here is if you made a barbarian and you still didn't have any armor and you made the barbarian female. Then right there you could pick up that armor and you'd be good to go. That's actually not a bad strategy, I would say. Cling ring, I'm going to pick that up. And there we go, more health. More health is good. Gonna get rid of, not gonna carry the fresh spice or the fire bombs yet. No need to. Haven't needed, to use Soul Arrow, really just used it for, for the tutorial boss and the Red Eye Knight. I don't plan on using it for a while. 1-1, you don't really need any heavy hitting attacks. Fire bombs will be used later. Okay, now we can continue. And here we'll be getting the Thief Ring, which is super, super helpful. Just do a little roll. And for the longest time, I did not even know about this whole area down here, not gonna lie. I think I went through the game, like, as a newbie, like 3 times, not even knowing this place existed. One time I just stumbled upon it, I'm like, what is this? Oh my god. And I'm gonna replace the Fragrant Ring since I'm not even gonna be using it.
That was a boat, well.
You know what, I'll be cheap here. I will use Soul Arrow on these guys, even though there's no reason to, but if you're a new player and, you jump down there and you're kind of pressured and, you feel surrounded, you can just do this. Just, kill a bunch of them. There's no, why not, right? If you get in a big bind and, for whatever reason, need Soul Arrow later, just equip the Fragrant Ring and wait, It's simple enough. Simple stuff. And he will jump down, and I'm going to, continue to save him throughout the levels. Since you get I believe it's a pure gray stone eventually, which can be helpful. And if you want the Mephistopheles quest, you have to keep him alive. I might go into that later. And you get a free kill on him if you sneak up, because I think he's immediately aggroed to, wow, I didn't even see him for some reason, immediately aggroed to a Strava when he appears, so he won't even attack you. And if you make a royal, a good tip, get the Smitter here. It's better than the Mailbreaker, and, free pickup, so it's always good. And oh yeah, you always gotta be careful here because he can lose to this guy, and that would not be, as you can see, yes, he can definitely lose. Just getting destroyed by this guy. And yes, the simple strategy of just keeping your shield up and circling your opponent. That will make this whole world so much easier. I can't stress that enough. And the Dreglings, just attack. They're not a threat. Don't be scared of them. And you gotta love the running attack of the Smitter. That's the main reason why I pick it up. I just love that running attack. I'll try to use it as many times as possible. Just make sure he doesn't go down there alone, because there was a time where I saw him get killed by these Dreglings, which is quite depressing. And yes, there's a reason why the Royal, you don't want to use the shield for long as a Royal. It's not very good. There will be easy options to get a better shield right after this world, and we will show that later. For now, it's just going to be 1-1. And it's always good to get these items. Collect as many items as you can if you're just starting out in the game. Because really, in Demon Souls, you can go as long as you want. As you might have saw on the load-up screen, I have, a soul level 712, and, don't think I've played this game for 88 years, even though that's impossible, because no one is ever going to get that level character legitimately. It's just not possible. Yes, I will admit I cheated. I'm a dirty cheater. Me and a friend did the soul suck glitch, but I don't see why people have such a big issue with that. It's like I had already beaten the game about 20 times, or probably more like 10 times on that character, and he was already legitimately like soul level like 260 or some crazy thing like that. And it's like, why not at that point? I've already, the game's already presenting me no challenge with that character. He was already, killing bosses, like, insanely quickly. It's just for the fun of it, I can still make new characters like this and have fun. There's no way anyone's ever going to get, soul level 712, without cheating. It's just impossible. That, like, from soul level 711 to 712, it's like a couple million souls or some insane thing. I don't even remember. It's crazy. But yeah, if anyone has a friend and they want to do that glitch, I highly recommend it, because a 712, you can do some really fun shit, I will not lie. Some really crazy stuff. Did I even hit him? I'm not even sure I did. And right now I'm being pretty lazy. I'm just smashing R1, and it is working just fine. Try to play better. I'm sorry. be a little more patient, actually block and attack. I'm just, doing this for completionist purposes for the sake of the guide. There's really no reason to kill these guys, if you're an experienced player, because, oh my god, wow. Didn't even mean to do that. That's a big waste of time. But what was I saying? Yes, there's really no reason to kill those guys. Well, they give you like 30 souls, and I already have, 4,000 something. So, if you're an experienced player, you're just going to breeze through this level. There's no reason to really sit around doing it.